listen, we can excuse all the sexism, racism, xenophobia.
Okay. Sure.
We can excuse.
We haven't mentioned the xenophobia. Very big here. Yeah.
Oh, that's just off mic.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
This is horrible. I speak at schools.
Yeah, not anymore.
We can't do this.
Every time I say the phrase "my wife," I feel like 3 kids in a trench coat. Just
Yeah.
like I'm like my wife,
Dude,
You know,
100. All the time I'm like, I'm a child.
Me too.
How did this happen? I also have a fear that my hair is thinning, and I don't know if it is.
For those who are listening and not watching, you have such thick hair. That is a shocking comment. Okay.
But in my and then I genuinely thought, like, I was like, oh, maybe it's getting a little thinner. And in my head, I was like, there's no way I'm thinning. I just graduated college is a thought I had in my head. And I turned 33 a little bit ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. But in my head, I was like, I just graduated. I'm Jude's age.
Yep. Yeah.
We're
yeah.
the same cohort.
Do you know what I said to Jude earlier today before you got here? I said, like our age. I used that phrase, our age.
Yeah.
I used it, and bless his heart, Jude didn't correct me.
Yeah, but the way he was talking about us being married,
I know,
he's like, you're dinosaurs.
For those that are listening, by the way, you wouldn't have heard this because you were not talking, you were not off mic with us. Where Jude said, and I'm quoting, when we said you're next to get married, he said, I have too much life ahead of me. Because our lives are over now.
Yeah.
You're 33. You have no bags under your eyes. Do you just sleep a lot, or is that your DNA?
Part of it is also wife.
Okay.
Does she make you? We have a skincare routine that she.
So my now wife, at the time girlfriend, brought me into skincare. I didn't even wash my face before.
Yeah, we had like there's like creams that I put on.
Sure.
Yeah. I also am obsessed with sleep, but I don't think I sleep enough.
Okay, wait. I have so many comments on sleep. I'm going to introduce the tea.
Oh,
For
yeah.
those who are steeping at home with us, we are drinking mango leaf tea by Awaken Aroma. This is the first time we're having this brand on the pod. We got this as a gift. This is a steep it boiling, only 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes. Let's see how we feel about this. I like it a lot.
I really like it.
It's really nice.
It almost feels like so sweet and floral, like almost not juice, but you know what I mean.
If they're gonna say like Jude, I'm like Jude, sweet and floral, our producer. He's
so
the
sweetest,
floraliest producer.
and it
right
kind
now.
of feels like we're the same age. This tea and I.
Mm-hmm. This tea was, I think, we're both made 21 years ago. Yeah, that's right. By
It's
the way,
really good.
I just have
really
to. I have to show you this. So this mug, the little ghouls and goblins change colors when there's hot water in it. They change to yellow.
Wow.
They're typically white. Because 'tis the season. You know what I mean?
Bit of a flex to do that and then give me this mug.
I gave you the guest mug. Which, by the way, we have like 4 of those. I never thought I would use all of them. I use them all the time now because I have to cycle through.
How much? I just noticed the J. I don't know if this.
Okay,
this will
so
zoom.
for those listening, not watching, he picked up a
know.
coaster with the letter J on it. Now, let me explain those. So Jess's father got them for Jess as a gift. My wife's name is Jess. Got them for her as a gift, and when she brought them in our home, I go, well, it kind of works.
Yeah, J and
I'm
J.
a J. You're a J.
I was gonna say, if you have children, do you think you'll go J name?
No.
Really?
So I'll tell you why. First off, we're the only J's in the house. You know what I mean? But also, in the Jewish religion, I don't know how familiar you are with the Jewish religion. We use the first letter of one of our ancestors that has passed that we knew or had a good relationship with. We use the first letter of their name.
Oh, that's really beautiful.
I agree.
And
we are beautiful.
I have so many Jewish friends.
Do you?
I have yeah, I do. I've lived in this now. Now I'm like, what can I? I was about to say I've lived in LA for a while.
Yeah. Wow.
which I also, growing up, there were less Jewish people around. I grew up in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So
Pura Vida can't be like Jura Vida. We can't do that. Can't do it?
I mean, you can.
But
and
you
no
should.
one would stop
Sorry,
you.
Pura Vida is Costa Rica.
Pura Vida is Costa Rica.
Yeah, you're Puerto Rico, which I want to say is Mofongo.
I'm in such a I'm in such a defensive stance now that I went along with it. I want you to know.
You're
I
sitting
went
here
along,
thinking,
by the way,
like,
with your racism against Latinos.
hold on. First off, I love
Costa Rica, is that Mexico?
No, I love. It's so funny. I threw it at you, and now you throw it at me. We're both just two racists on podcasts now. No, I've been to Puerto Rico twice. I absolutely loved it. I actually really love Mofongo. I think it's so good. I also enjoy Costa Rica. If we have Costa Rican listeners, I love it. I looked right down the barrel. I was like, I love you.
And I'm Colombian. I'm originally Colombian, so Colombian is the most
interesting. I've been to Bogota.
That's where my family's from.
For real?
The capital city, Bogota. What did you go there for?
Work.
Okay, I was gonna say because there's travel. I love Bogota. I can't make fun of it too much, but there's a lot of better places if you're going to Colombia for a few days.
Medellin.
Yeah, that's where I got married. Medellin.
You serious?
Yeah, that's where I got married.
I'll tell you this. This is my only complaint. By the way, should I say Bogota or does it make me sound like I'm white trying to do it?
You can say. What do you say, Bogota?
I say Bogota, but that's not the correct pronunciation.
Oh, that's fine. That feels fine. Yeah.
Okay. Because now I'm on a defensive stance because now I'm racist, apparently. So I will say that this is my only complaint about that place. No one, and this is my own fault. Maybe I should have done the research. No one told me it is insanely high altitude.
Oh.
No one told me that. So I get there at night. I go to bed, wake up the next morning, and I am telling you, halfway through the day, I am feeling ill.
Yeah.
Like awful. And I don't know why, and I'm freaking out, and I'm just like, every part of my body doesn't feel good. I'm like, feel like I'm gonna vomit. Like, it's all a nightmare.
Totally.
And I'm like, happen to be telling someone who works in that office, and he goes, yeah, how much water have you had? And I was like, I mean, like, I drank like a cup of water.
You're like, on my face?
I was like, I was like, I splashed it on my face once, fully hydrated. No, I said, I don't know. I had a cup of water. Like, what do you mean? I'm fine. And he goes, you're having altitude sickness. And I was like, how high is this place? And he goes, 9,000 feet. I was like, no.
It makes Denver look adorable.
It was the cutest thing.
Like, to be like, oh, you guys are a mile high. Oh.
This is a really inappropriate question. Have you ever heard of the altitudes?
When you, it's
if you're in really high altitude, your flatulence just goes through the roof.
Half is the doctor high altitude flatulence.
High altitude,
HAF.
Does just everyone in Bogota just deal with this?
I think they get used to it. I think part of it is your stomach going from low altitude to high altitude. Does that make sense? Okay. I think part of it is that.
I just wasn't sure if it's just a gassy group.
Premise. That like just the gassy. And everyone's walking around, they're like, listen, it's half.
Yeah, we all know.
Listen, you and I both know what's happening here.
It's the baseline there. When they leave and they visit other places, they go, I haven't farted in
I don't have
weeks.
IBS at all. It's just the altitude.
That is so funny.
I think part of it is the shift. I don't know, but in my head, no one in my family is like, oh yeah, in Bogota. But when we visit and we're not there for a while, you're like, oh yeah, your stomach's gonna grumble for a little bit.
It's tough.
And then you get used to it, right? Because I spent long stretches there, like summers and things like that.
Yeah.
And the first few days are tough. The first few days going upstairs, I would like
winded.
I would go upstairs and I'd be like,
I do that here. What does that mean for there? I don't. When I walk up the stairs to get to our kitchen, I sit down and I just go, where did the time go? I really it turns out it took me 45 minutes to get up there. Didn't even know.
Yeah.
To me,
it is when you like give yourself a little, like sometimes I'll walk upstairs and then be like, I'm going to sit and go on my phone a little because I deserve a little treat.
Yeah.
I did good.
This is an interesting question because I've been doing something which I don't think is healthy recently. And I'm curious where you sit on this. When I drive from somewhere back home, I will sit in the car and like burn through some TikTok
mental
for
health.
like 5 to 10 minutes.
I think we do that instead of therapy.
Okay. No, and I'm also in therapy.
Oh, you can, if you do the car thing, you can leave.
Okay, that's fair. I should tell him because you know what's funny? I have not told him that I do that. He may tell me, you've graduated.
Do you have a male therapist?
I do.
I had a female therapist and I went to a male therapist and I was like, oh, I should have had a male therapist.
I'll tell you why I would have more trouble with a female therapist. And transparently, Jess and my couples therapist is a female therapist. The reason that I would have trouble on a personal note is because I think that I would be compelled to impress her and
Yeah.
want her to like me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to indulge that part of me in therapy.
Do you like, though, I agree, and do you find yourself performing more like man for your man therapist at the beginning or no?
No, because I came in with such a specific issue. I started going to therapy because I got in a really bad car accident and I was suffering from like severe PTSD. So I didn't even have the opportunity. Like, I think if I hadn't gone in for that originally, I might have been like, what up, man? Like, how we do, but I was so fucked in the head. Like, I just said to him, I was like, I have flashes like 15 times a day of the car accident. Like, it really fucked me up super bad. I can't sleep. I'm having trouble eating. Like, I essentially like told him, I was like, all this shit's happening and I need help.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, like let's talk through this.
Yeah. That's my wife had a really big traumatic car accident before we met, and then started a company on the other side of that. And now she's totally okay. But that she was at NPR making podcasts and like having a dream little job. And then she was like, I need to live life, and started a company.
But there's a company. The company didn't have to do with car accidents.
No. But I mean, like the leap. Like there's something beautiful,
I think that
like
contributed.
Post-traumatic growth, right, or whatever they refer to it.
Yeah, it's PTG. PTG.
It's better than HAF, half.
Right. Well, which, by the way, you can get half if you get your PTG in a very high altitude city. I think that the car accident definitely contributed to me wanting to do something different. Listen, I swear to God, this is true. The timing of this conversation is funny. Yesterday, I was reviewing a draft of my will. I don't know if you've done this yet, but now that you're married, you're probably going to want to do it.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah. So I was reviewing a draft of my will, which, by the way, like, if you want to talk about your own mortality, Jesus, like you're going through this thing and it's like, hey, here's 17 ways you can donate your organs. Are you cool with all of them, some of them, or none of them?
Were there some weird ones that they're like, some honestly are just sex?
We're
just going to have the spleen for sex.
Yeah. Someone wants to have sex with your armpit. Will you donate that? No. I didn't want. I was happy to donate my organs if they appear in like a very fun horror movie. If only. I would love to be like, listen, if you're making Terrifier 4, you can use my liver.
It's got to be like SAG though. Don't do like
low. It's not non-union.
Yeah.
No,
non-union shoot.
I would like my maybe pancreas to be in Smile 3. If you can, let's get that done. And I'll sign on that.
And then there's
line.
Credits, and it goes pancreas.
That is part of it. I want my own card. I don't want to be in the scroll. Yeah. I want it to literally say like it'll be like directed by David Fincher, featuring Josh's pancreas. Like I want Josh. Like that,
Just no context.
No, I don't, and I don't think it needs it. And that was part of what I wrote in there. No context required. But I did the one thing I wouldn't give up, and maybe this makes me a bad person. My eyes.
Yeah.
Didn't want to donate those because I was kind of just like, I think that's one of the few things that I think is they're so uniquely my own.
Eyes are the window to the soul.
Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, I'm happy to like open up that window on a daily basis while I can close it. You know what I mean? I just don't want someone to look through these eyes and be like, what if they like implant my eyes and they start seeing visions of things I've seen?
I mean, let's make a non-union, low-budget horror film on that.
My gallbladder is going to be in that.
Yeah.
It's called Window to the Soul.
That is an interesting thing to think about because I haven't done any of that because, might I remind you, I'm a child.
Yeah, no.
With
and I'm right
thick
there
hair, and it's crazy I have a wife because I'm just walking around.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know. Are you on recess right now? How did you get here?
My
mom signed me out today. That's why I'm here.
I'm doing show and tell tomorrow, and I'm going to play the podcast for my class.
Okay, can I give you a hot take on show and tell?
Finally.
Here's my hot take on show and tell. Here's my hot take on show and tell. We are putting so much pressure on these kids. What if Gordon just doesn't have anything of interest that week?
Gordon's got to sell it. I think it's a cruel world. I think show and tell is good.
It is.
I think it's good. I think
make the case to me.
I think show and tell puts children and it places them under the pressures of like capitalism
Okay.
on scarcity.
Mm.
And it says, do you know how you get ahead? It's not what you show, it's how you tell. And that's the
Oh.
secret of show and tell. It doesn't matter if someone brings in like a family heirloom, but someone brings in a leaf and tells a story about leaf, right? Show and tell is about how stories shape the world around us.
I'm going to give you a contrary opinion. I think show and tell is where we sow the seeds of disinformation and misinformation for the youth. That's what I think. Because these kids are coming in and they know, right? They know their rock isn't the thing.
Yeah.
Right? So they start coming up with a story. An eagle flew by and dropped this rock in my hand. And everyone goes, eagle didn't drop a rock in your hand, Jerry. You know where you found that rock? In your backyard this morning when you realized you didn't have something for show and tell. I didn't know it was called show and lie.
Listen, if Jerry closes the deal with The Rock,
You think the class goes, that's the greatest rock I've ever seen.
we'll do it. I imagine show and tell is, let's say it's the kindergartners. Every other kindergartner, while someone is presenting, is like the Shark Tank sharks. And they go, Jerry, I do not believe that eagle had that walk. And for those reasons, I'm out.
I am out. I would love if the one kid goes, I will say that rock was dropped by an eagle, but I want 10% and then 1 cent royalty for every rock that you show. You know?
I will go with you on the eagle story, but future rocks, I get 20, you get 80.
Honestly, I would take that deal.
Yeah.
Based on what you just said, I would take that deal. Sharks, I'm in.
They have to do a children's Shark Tank.
Do you not think they must have...
Sharky's tank?
Please.
The
Baby
guppies
shark
Baby
tank.
shark tank.
Yeah.
Baby shark tank, 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 tank. Baby shark tank. This is a wild... I have a few friends in
jobs. I think this is it.
Unscripted that I might text.
Kid Shark Tank?
Yeah.
I would love if you do just have one kid who's clearly coached come in, right? And they're they're like, so what are you presenting? And she's like, I am presenting new ways to store cloud computing software. And they're like, I'm sorry, you're 5.
Just a cute 8-year-old.
Yeah, you're just like, what?
Sharks, as you know, health records don't really transfer between, and they're just like doing the problem.
You're like, what?
HVAC systems are out of date, and we don't have the workforce to do it. So what we're doing...
I do feel like every kid has a deep knowledge of HVAC systems. You don't find that?
Dude, my brother has 2 children, and years ago...
And 3 HVAC systems.
And each of them underneath have an entire HVAC empire. And one of Gabby, who was like 3 or 4 years old at the time, we were like talking about...
The niece.
Yeah, the niece. We were talking about... I was like, oh, look at the car. Like, I think we're out. And I was like, look at that pickup. And I was like, what's your favorite kind of car? And she goes, excavator. And it's because she watches some...
Dude, my nephew does the same shit.
And she like knew types of construction equipment and vehicles that I did not know. I literally, she described, I was like, which one is excavator? And she's like, it's got the big shovel. And it was amazing.
We were once looking at a book with my nephew. He was 3 at the time. And we're looking at animals. And we come to an animal and I go, do you know what that animal is? And I'm sitting there with Jess. And Jess goes like, I think it's an antelope. And he goes, it's an ibis. And I was like, you know what a fucking ibis is. Get out of here. And the real truth was I was projecting. I didn't know what an ibis was. And that there was the heart of the issue.
Yeah. It's amazing to be humbled by children, especially the contrast of talking down to them, right? Like, there's nothing better than you being like, oh, do you want to sit on the couch? Right. Yeah. And they go like, it's a love seat or whatever. And you're like, God damn it. That's
like,
right.
It is a love seat.
How do they know the correct title of this?
And I go, it's really special. And he just looks, he goes, it's from Ashley Furniture. I'm like, how did he do this?
It's Ashley Furniture. It's on sale. It's not even season anymore.
It is really, no, I have a nephew and a niece. They are, he is about to be 5. She's about to be 3. And it is tough. They're humans now, and it's confusing.
Is your brother sister older?
Interesting. A little misogyny going on here. So you're racist and misogynist. No, I'm kidding. My sister is. It depends. Are we talking about technically or like emotionally?
Oh, this is based on that. You're older. No,
No,
you're younger.
I'm younger.
Of course you're younger. You're a comedian.
You know what it is though? I will say this. Like, I think when we were younger, I often was the more responsible one of the two of us, and like all that. Once she had kids, like she is now super responsible. I mean, she is like mom mode.
Yeah.
After the first kid, a nightmare to be around. Just the worst. Second kid, right now she's cool again.
Wow. What a
Yeah.
transition.
I know.
My brother totally, he's older.
Yeah.
Went into superhero mode after children.
So
It was
he's like the
incredible.
best now.
Yeah.
Was he the best before?
Yeah, he was always great, but but to see him with like, now he's like genuinely a superhero. Like he like
Like at night he
works and
fights
starts
crime.
cool businesses and fights crime
Yeah,
and
yeah.
keeps Gotham City safe.
Did you say he starts businesses? Was there a plural there?
Yeah. He just is like like I feel like he had children, was like maybe it was like, I can do anything or I can do hard things, or he's like, I don't know, life is over. So right, he kind of thinks like Jude.
Yeah. He really does.
And he's like, well, life is, I have a wife. What
Yeah,
else is there
yeah.
to look forward to?
At that point, I think
It's
you're
all
like 5 years from
downhill.
death. Yeah, according to Jude. Yeah.
But I think he just like, he like went to a different level. Like, I think maybe different sense of urgency. I don't know.
I can see that.
I should ask
Maybe
him.
he faced his own
Mortality.
I love saying words at the same time as other people, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I do like it.
I'm also a big chanter.
I love a chant.
I love on stage
Yeah.
getting people to chant something.
Is it often a nonsense chant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
like right, if you're like riffing or
Yeah.
whatever, and then you're like, oh, that person's from Wisconsin. You go Wisconsin, and you're like, there's no.
It's fun when you have a three syllable.
Yeah.
Wisconsin is
Yeah.
fun. Michigan is fun. It's not as fun when you're like Peru. You know what I mean? Like that's not,
Another blow at Latin America.
yeah.
Peru, or as you call it, pura vida.
Pura vida.
Pura vida.
I mean, listen,
Costa Rica's amazing.
I
I'm with you.
mean, I know you're more of a Panama guy. I know that. Spent a little time there.
Wow, somebody Googled.
Listen, I don't want to brag, but we do research, and by we I mean Jude, and we get the deepest. I mean, we have your social security number.
Jude.
We know what condoms you used to like. Jude went deep on that. Which, by the way,
lambskin.
they don't even make the ones you used anymore, which is crazy.
Yeah. Well, after Y2K, things got crazy.
I haven't used one since. I mean, that's where I'm at. I do the abstinence method. We still haven't. You know what I mean?
I think we need a new Y2K to bring society together.
Can I tell you the real truth? So I read this today in a thread that said, what are scary things that most people don't know that are going to happen? I read that apparently in old Linux systems, they time out in, I believe, 2038, in the same way that like Y2K and the computer systems like didn't have the O1 situation. Apparently there are a lot of systems now. What someone in the first comment on that comment, the first reply was like, they are replacing all these systems now, so that we're not going to run into those issues. And I go, all of them?
Yeah.
All of them? There's not going to be one that's going to be a
Dude,
little...
2038 that's good news. I feel like if I were running, well, not the Linux, but not that computers might not work.
Next thing you know, you're going to be like, I hope the climate comes to an end.
No one has
news.
said what side I'm on.
Yeah,
on
that
the
is true.
climate.
I have told
They go-
people, listeners don't even fully understand that like you are a huge climate advocate, but the question is, do you advocate for the climate or for the
against.
ending of the climate?
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm here on behalf of Chevron. And I say drill, baby, drill.
Well, I didn't want to tell you this. So we're actually sponsored by Sunoco. Sunoco, where you get gas and they probably have kids working in the mines. Allegedly. Allegedly.
Wow.
I would never say that for real. I don't know.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Everything's alleged. The Diddy freak-offs are alleged, apparently.
Yeah. Are you saying that because you were at the parties?
At the party. Can I tell you what I wouldn't have done to be invited to the parties? I wouldn't have gone, though. I'm that person.
Yeah.
If Diddy was like, hey, there's going to be a party and there are freak-offs, I'm like, that sounds like a lot. I don't see that.
It would be nice to get the invitation and then say no.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. That would have been nice to be like, I could have gone.
You know what? And I'm so sad. Oh, so sad I didn't make it,
Yeah.
And then all the court cases come out and you go, old me, I was on the couch.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I knew that according to Jude, my life was over, so I just was trying to take it all in
I
from
was
my
just
home.
on the couch, breathing my last breaths.
I know that was
watching New Girl reruns with my wife.
I have a joke I'm doing on stage right now about how I will only use the phrase "my wife" if I can do it dramatically.
Yeah,
I'm literally doing that bit on stage right now.
that's
and it's
so
funny you
my
said that.
wife.
Yeah,
That's so good. It is tough to like Borat. What Borat has done to my wife is
Horrible.
unbelievable. That movie came out 15 years ago,
at least.
and it is tough to like still to be like, whose does that belong to? And to like just say my wife, like bat.
I have to pause to make sure I'm not.
Yeah.
My wife.
Yeah. It is. You have to like purposely do a different intonation. You're like my wife,
Yeah,
like you're
my wife.
It's an unbelievable. I'm like, how is it's entered all our consciousness?
It's terrible.
It's the real Y2K.
So
The
Borat is the real
Borat's-
Y2K.
Oh, I was saying a politician I think would be good. This is why I'm like, I don't think aliens have come because I think they'd be so useful. If you were like a president and you'd be like, hey guys, aliens, let's all band together.
Do
against
you
them.
against them? What did you
Or
watch Three
for
Body
them.
Problem?
I did.
You know, it's challenging.
That scientist, she's Latina. I can say this. Too attractive to be a physicist. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly who you're talking
The
about.
whole time I was like, of course, beautiful women can be in STEM, but
Yes.
she's distracting in every scene.
I mean, listen,
And
she made me care about science. I mean, like that is.
But I would think that if it were also an aggressively attractive man,
Which I think that there are some very attractive men in science. You know,
Einstein. Hello.
Is he?
Hello.
Hello. I mean,
Who's an attractive man in science?
I'm trying to think of one.
Or who's even played an attractive man in science in movies?
I mean, Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar.
Oh, that's good. All right,
He was kind of a
no Three Body Problem. You're right. It doesn't. I actually
end
think
well.
Three Body Problem is really beautiful, and there would be like doomsday cults, and there would be divisions. You're right. It's an imperfect.
Here's the thing. I think whatever would come to bring the world together, quote unquote, Y2K, aliens, whatever, there are still going to be 49.5% of the country who goes, well, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And you're bullshit. And I don't believe you. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, like you see the spaceship and it's likely above your town right now. And they're zapping up cows and they're killing people. But hey, you don't believe.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, the Jews and their space lasers. And you're like, okay, well, that's a thought.
I agree. Not about the Jews and the space lasers.
No,
thing.
I think that is. So it's weird. You keep kind of falling into
I
these
don't-
anti-Semitic
don't.
places, which
was there no part of you that's like kind of flattered that you believe we have space lasers?
here's what's interesting. Here's my hottest of hot takes. Everyone who says the Jews control the media. If we control the media, would there be this many Christmas movies? Like, would there?
Hallmark movie is just a flag post of Christian nationalism.
Yeah. Like, if we controlled the media, don't you think you'd see like a Passover film that starred like Alison Brie and Jake Gyllenhaal? Like, do you think Andrew Garfield would come out being like Yom Kippur the musical? Like, don't you think if we controlled the media, we'd get some of those films? You know,
It's
instead
really
we're getting
good.
we're getting, the next Christmas movie, which is someone was at a gas station and they ran out of gas, and it turns out another guy ran out of gas, and then this girl and the guy walk together and find out that they were neighbors when they were kids and they never knew it, and blah, 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 and the magic of Christmas time, and now they're married.
They were on Baby Shark Tank when they were kids.
And they both
that's
pitched
how-
a Christmas tree
to
farm.
the Shark Tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I wish there were conspiracy theories against Latinos that like really put us in power. Cool. No one's being like, these Latinos and their super secret weapons. Right?
Well, I think their weapon is their good looks.
Yeah.
That's
a
nice.
good point. Back to the scientist and Three Body Problem.
There you go. We needed a beautiful Latino in science. That's what we needed.
And
can I ask you, this is actually kind of a weird, serious question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I have met some people that don't like the term Latinx.
Oh yeah.
Like, dislike?
I don't mind it. I think it's fine.
Okay.
I think I understand the criticism of it it's not really like it doesn't work in Spanish too much.
Yeah.
Right? Like Spanish, to have it be gender neutral, you would say Latine.
Okay.
Like so in Spanish, and people are often saying Latine, but I also understand Latino is like, I understand people breaking that down and being like, if there's 99 women and one man, it's still Latino because the man, like, and like I understand people being like the gender dynamics of that, and Latinx is a substitute to that. I'm also like the Latinos. There's also like American-based Latinos that are creating a different type of like a different type of version of the language than, like, I understand someone who lives in Colombia might have might be like, dude, what the heck is Latinx?
Sure.
And they'd be like, I'm not familiar with English, and I'm also not familiar with like maybe some of the gender discussions happening now in the US, if that makes sense.
It
so
does.
Latinx feels very, very, I'm just copying you.
Please.
I didn't even know we could.
For those
sit
listening, we're
cross-legged.
both in crisscross applesauce now.
Yeah. I'm giving a too much information and too rambly information to be too coherent.
Listen, we have an editor. They're going to cut everything you said. Martin, who, by the way, is Latino.
Martin, I don't want to put you on the spot.
I wouldn't.
What country is he?
Well, what country is Martin from?
Yeah. Do you remember? That's okay.
So this is what he says. He's a person of the world. That's what he says.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'm just quoting.
Convenient.
Because I love Martin so much.
Of course. I should have never asked you.
I mean, he's a great guy, and I'm a big fan. And I think here's the thing. I love past the boundaries of country and state. You know what I mean? My love goes international.
Yeah.
And I love
And
Martin.
I've always said that about you.
Yeah, and someone told
I
me
go,
that.
Josh, his love goes international.
It does. Now, weirdly, I found the most just American palest white girl to marry, but my love does go international.
Yeah. And I was like, that doesn't capture his love fully.
No.
His love goes international. Yeah. No, Latinx is a tough. I had a Spotify podcast a little bit ago, and it was called Identity.
Do you want me to
at
drop
Play.
that name? You pick that up? Yeah.
It was a Spotify original podcast.
This could be one
and
too. Spotify, if you're listening, this could be your next one.
Please. So in all the marketing was like, the premise was talking to Latinx people and influencers and
Never heard of it.
celebrities and Latinx, Latinx.
Latinx.
And there were some people who were like, Latinx is it's so funny to like do a thing and be proud of it and be like, hey, look, we talked to California Senator Alex Padilla, who replaced Kamala when Kamala was VP and all
Very
these things.
familiar.
And we're like, this is very exciting. And people being like, Latinx, that's an academic university term. No one on the streets uses it. And I'm like, listen, I'm just trying to get Spotify to like
Give us a second season.
And tell interesting stories. We're trying to counter out Joe Rogan.
Good luck.
Yeah. And we did it. I think we.
What's interesting is I heard you eclipse his downloads.
Everyone's saying Jose Rogan.
Yeah, that's what I call him. I want to have a whole podcast episode about why are cars masculine but movies are feminine. Interesting. La película. El auto.
Una película.
Yeah.
Dude, this is great. You would crush it. These would be good jokes.
I don't know that I'm ready to go to a fully Spanish speaking audience and go, here's some jokes I have about your language.
Should
Check
I not
this one out.
Run my Hebrew set tonight?
No, you can. I don't speak it, but I'm going to cheer for you.
I like that. This is a real battle of cultures for no reason.
Mine is not going to win. I'll tell you that right now. By the way, I feel that we need to get to our first segment. Are you ready for the first segment?
Absolutely. I'm really sorry if I've interrupted segments.
No, here's what's interesting. We all hate you now, and you are so fired from the podcast. Okay. So the first segment, it's called the Newly Friend Game. It's like the Newlywed Game, but we're friends. You can pick up your whiteboard over there.
Really exciting.
I am going to ask you a question.
Okay.
You are going to write down your answer. Don't say it out loud. I'm going to write down what I think your answer is. We're going to flip our boards and see if we get it right.
Perfect.
And then we will do the same or similar question.
How much do the audio-only people hate this game?
We edit it so it's very fast. I'm going to tell you. When you listen to it, I introduce the game. I ask your question. We flip the boards in seconds.
Is that Martin as well?
It's all Martin.
Martin.
He's great.
And he's a person of the world.
Yeah, he is a person. And again, my love extends to him.
Yes.
No matter where he is.
I've always said that.
Now, so we know that we don't know what side of the climate you advocate for at the moment, but we know that you're a climate advocate.
Yeah.
We also know that you lived in an eco-village. Here's my question for you.
Absolutely.
If you could see anything in the world that is a big nature experience, right? I don't want to give you any possibilities here, but if there's something in the world that you wanted to see more than anything, that is kind of like a revelation in nature, what would it be? 1, 2, 3, flip. You said the Amazon River. I said Iceland's Blue Lagoon.
Oh, wow. I mean, I would love to.
Yeah, but you didn't write it.
No, I'm choosing yours.
The Amazon River. I'm scared of it because of the game. When you had to, do you ever play that game on the Amazon River?
No.
Oh, you like encountered all these different animals. You had to get pictures of certain things, and I just always died. And it was a tough time.
This was like the.
It was on an early computer game.
Man, I just think there's like parts of the Amazon River that feel very majestic and like just awe-inspiring. And they're hard to reach. It just feels impractical.
You want to meet for coffee there next week? We'll go.
Should we do Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon Rainforest.
We're recording this live from Amazon.
Yeah.
Audio only, prove us wrong.
Yeah, they don't know. We're already there. And you can hear the sounds of the birds. Caw-caw. Do you hear that? It's in there.
Yeah.
I just heard it.
Martin, put in more birds. Martin?
Yeah. Martin, can we get some birds in here?
We're just asking Martin impossible things.
I think that's reasonable.
Martin, can you make the world a better place?
I think he can. Let's do the same question for me.
Okay. What do I think you would?
What do you think I'm going to write? Good. 1, 2, 3, flip. You said the Great Wall of China. I said salmon swimming upstream in Alaska.
Wow. Have you done that?
No, I want to. I think it would be so cool.
I've done that.
You've seen that?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Is it as cool as it seems?
Yeah, it's wild. We were somewhere and then a bear came and we went in a cabin. Like it wasn't scary. It was like kind of part of the experience.
So that sounds very scary.
Yeah.
On the first pass.
The bear was in on it. It was just a guy in a bear suit. I'm gonna be honest.
No, which is fine. Which, by the way, I didn't want to say this. That was Jude. Yeah,
that's why he knew salmon's. Have you been to Alaska?
No.
Do you like cold places?
I lived in Minneapolis for 2 years and Chicago for 4, so I'm going to go ahead and say I can handle them. I'm also from New York, so cold is my MO.
Minneapolis is so great. I can't believe you live there.
When were you there?
I lived in Chicago for a little and I went up to...
When were you there?
Okay,
did we overlap?
When were you there?
Well, I just mean like I was there. I didn't hear a thing from you.
There?
You didn't text. You didn't write. No, I did not.
You said 4 years.
Yeah, that does sound like
you could have gone to University of Chicago.
Which would have been fine.
I mean that flatteringly.
Okay, is that better or worse than Northwestern?
It's better.
Okay, then yes, that's where I would have gone.
Did you go to Northwestern?
No, I went to WashU. It's in St. Louis.
Oh, I know. Yeah, of course.
You know it.
Yeah.
Where did you go?
I went to U of I, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign.
Chambana. You went to Chambana.
I went to Chambana.
I know it.
Did you ever go to the St. Louis Funny Bone? Were you doing comedy at the time?
When in St. Louis, I was doing improv.
Cool.
There was not really a stand-up club while I was there, and if anyone writes and tells me I was wrong, y'all didn't market yourselves well. So I didn't really do that.
It's good to get ahead of people writing in. There was a stand-up club at WashU.
We just had someone on who said very simply that the board game Clue was a terrible board game. We already have over 160 comments of angry people who are just like, well, you're not playing Clue right. And here's what's interesting. Large majority of the people don't make a comment on Clue. They go, yeah, well, Monopoly sucks. I go, well, okay, so where's that coming from? Not that I like
You're
Monopoly.
Starting a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Let's keep it focused on Clue.
That's like being like, yeah, well, I think that banana-flavored things do not do bananas justice. I'm like, that's interesting. It's different.
Knowing that this is your audience is so eager to engage in conflicts, I feel worse about all the jokes that I've been making.
No, you know what? It's social media. It's social media. Our audience is fervently supportive until I say one wrong thing. And then it's just
until the tiniest misstep, and then they'll never forgive you.
Yeah.
Even with you 5 seasons.
Well, listen, we don't know if they all come and who comes and who goes. I think that right now, after everyone found out that you didn't like the Jews, they all stopped listening, I think.
You have to, Martin.
Yeah,
Martin, have to protect me.
Yeah, Martin.
it's tough to dig your way out because I was just gonna be like, oh, the
I
officiant
have so
who
many Jewish
married
friends.
me is Jewish. You know, like it's a.
Were you
tough-
married by a friend?
I was married, yeah, by two friends.
Oh wow.
One
Okay.
is Hindu, one is Indian, and one is Jewish.
Okay.
My wife is Pakistani, she's Muslim, and I grew up Catholic. So we are the UN. It
Wait.
sounds like a joke, like a
That's very
Hindu and
funny.
a Jew walk into a marriage ceremony with a Muslim and a Catholic.
Now, here's a question. Are either, I'm going to stick with you and your wife rather than the other two people who I don't know, though I don't know your wife either. Are you two both religiously observant in your own religion still?
She a little more.
Okay.
She's writing a book on.
Do either of you ever do unimpressive things? It's so frustrating.
No, yeah. She's writing a book on like a really beautiful, like progressive interpretation of Islam. So she, I would say, observes what it means to be a Muslim in her own way.
My feeling on religions in general, hot take alert, my feeling on religions in general is that I choose to believe that a lot of people that align with any of these given religions are all looking for the same things: community, love, security,
Yeah.
confidence, like routine. I think everybody, no matter what religion you are, I think that's a lot of what people want, which is why I have no judgment towards people that are religious, because I think like even if if person A is religious, person B is not, it doesn't mean person B does not want the same things person A wants. They're just choosing a different avenue by which to pursue them. So I never take issue with anyone that's religious. What I do take issue with is when people bastardize the pursuit of religion to be something it is not, which is like, well, I am Christian and I believe that everyone who's not Christian is going to hell.
Yeah.
So like I'm going to go to some African villages and make them Christians because they can't go to hell. I'm like, okay, hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. It also feels so totally. It feels so human to be like, God only likes some of you, huh? You're like,
Yeah.
You think an almighty, omnipresent, like enormous God is thinking about details like that? Like,
the other thing I find so funny is like, okay, so you have certain religions and I'm just going to speak to the U.S. because I think it's different everywhere, but you have certain religions in the U.S. where like certain people from one religion hate people from another religion. Like look at Islamophobia for a minute. Like you will have a lot of Christian people or Jewish people or any people that engage in Islamophobia who are also from monotheistic cultures.
Dude,
and I'm just like,
I know. I'm curious at like religious fervor. Why there's people, right, who die for those differences.
yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I cannot think of a single thing other than Jess I would die for.
Yeah. For a second,
By
I
the
thought
way,
you said Jess.
No, Jess, my wife, and she better hear that because that is a big statement.
And let me be clear. I would die for Misha, my wife.
Yeah, my wife.
Here's
Here's what's interesting. According to Jude, he has no one he would die for.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. Maybe us.
Well, he was also saying, oh, Protestant versus Lutheran, I would die over the difference of those.
I remember he said that off mic.
And
which
he's
is
over
weird.
there. He's doing the cross and he go a different direction.
He did 15 minutes of stand-up. He's not a stand-up comic. He did 15 minutes of stand-up on Mormonism, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah, but it was very like 80s stuff. Like he's like, Mormons eat food like this.
Yeah.
Lutherans eat food like this.
It felt like Eddie Murphy met Book of Mormon, and it was confusing.
It was very confusing and also compelling.
Yeah. I honestly, I feel convinced.
Yeah.
I do think Mormons build houses like this.
It is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Amish build houses. Amish, what God do they?
I don't know.
Jude?
Whatever God it is, he wears one of those same hats.
Yeah. He goes, remember my rules, no technology.
I encountered Amish people.
In the Midwest?
No, on the East Coast.
Oh.
So we didn't grow up with like boatloads of money. We were essentially house poor. So our vacations, like we lived in a really rich town. So like other people's vacations were like, hey, we're off to Turks and Caicos. And I was like, hey, we're just going to drive down to Lancaster, Pennsylvania and stay on a B&B with a farm that we're going to work at for a few days.
I mean, that's
Which
nice.
is fun.
Yeah.
But I milked a cow, which was a lot.
That's great.
Is it? And we like encountered a lot of just like Amish people just doing their thing. And I was just like, this is a choice.
I thought you were in Midwest, maybe St. Louis.
I love it's not the Midwest. In Midwest.
In Midwest.
Yeah.
in Midwest. But I was in Urbana-Champaign, which is surrounded by corn. You were still in a metropolitan area.
I was. Do you not call it Chambana?
Chambana? No.
Okay, did anyone?
I don't know, but I feel like I have to agree with you.
No, you don't have to.
You're the host of this podcast, and you have all the power.
I have no. Let me just think. There's not a single aspect of my life in which I have power. I cannot stress that enough. Like, nobody has ever looked at me and goes, well, let's see what Josh thinks.
You have the power to love beyond boundaries and borders.
I do. And I hope that Martin knows that. That my love goes beyond.
But I encountered a bunch of Amish people who were, a few of the times, they were on Rumspringa.
Do we think that's real?
Yeah, I mean, I met Amish people on Rumspringa.
But are they really cutting loose on Rumspringa?
So you're a guy, aliens are coming. You're turning to me and you're saying, do we think that's real?
I do believe in aliens. Go ahead.
Do you think they believe in us?
I think if we really prove that we are reliable, they'll believe in us in the same way, we believe in each other.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I think aliens are going to come down and be like, have you guys been saying the right phrases to God?
Yeah. Well, no, the right phrase is to them.
Yeah.
Blessed are you, little green dudes.
Blessed are you, little green dudes.
Yeah, who go E.T. phone home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if it looks exactly like E.T.? Steven Spielberg would have a lot of explaining to do.
He would have all the explaining to do.
Yeah.
I think people would be like, he's the Messiah or he's the devil.
And he goes, a lucky guess.
Yeah, what did I know? I was just, I didn't know they were going to like Reese's Pieces. It was a guess. It was a guess.
Have you seen the movie Contact?
No.
Jodie Foster?
No.
Matthew McConaughey? Should I name other actors in it?
Yeah, I would like that. Can you? Honestly, I was going to take us to our final segment, but I would like to know at least 2 other actors in Contact.
Oh, man, I want to so bad. It's based on a short story by Carl Sagan.
Okay.
The beloved Carl Sagan.
This is not the movie where, like, I think I'm thinking of a different movie where, like, they talk to each other through time, like someone's in the present. That is Contact.
That's Arrival.
No, I know Arrival.
But Arrival has very Contact vibes.
But Arrival was great. But I think there's a movie where it's like a father and son talk to each other. No, that's not Contact.
It's father and daughter.
Father and daughter.
But
is
basically
Contact. Is that a spoiler? Did I just spoil myself?
No, that's okay. I think it's fine. It also came out in a, I want to be clear, like 1997.
But what is the statute here? I heard it's 35 years. Is that wrong?
When it enters public domain.
Yeah, exactly.
So
then you can spoil
Gatsby
it.
just did, and this is crazy. Gatsby's killed at the end. And I can comfortably say that.
What?
I can comfortably say that because it entered public domain.
This is a big spoiler. Winnie the Pooh doesn't wear pants. And that just entered, public domain.
And he was, did you see he was at a few of Diddy's parties, which is troubling.
He was the original freak off. He goes, oh, the freak off.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't do a Winnie the Pooh, but honestly, if you're listening, comment, because I don't think that was that bad.
I think that was incredible.
I'm out here trying. Oh, the freak off.
Yeah, his jar of honey is kind of problematic.
I think he was inviting other people to put their hands in the jar, and I think that's where the problem started.
Have one taste.
Exactly.
You're just too good. I can't even.
He was out there, and he was like, I'm a bad boy for life.
And then owls over there, reporting.
Every time I think about the owl, I just think about the owl from the Tootsie Pop commercials. That's the only owl whose voice I know.
Yeah.
A 1, a 2, a 3. 3.
This has just turned into cartoon impressions.
Yeah.
But in Contact, because we have to close the Contact thread.
We'll do that because we're getting to our final segment, and people are going to be pissed if you don't close this.
They will be like, listen, we can excuse all the sexism, racism, xenophobia.
Okay. Sure.
We can excuse.
We haven't mentioned the xenophobia. Very big here. Yeah.
Oh, that's just off mic.
Yeah.
This is horrible. I speak at schools.
Not anymore.
We can't do this.
What's the next school you're teaching at? We're speaking at. We're sending it. You know what I mean?
I'm going to Pittsburgh in 1 week to talk about climate action and youth.
Oh,
and so it's got to be Martin. You have to make me look good.
It's weird. So for everyone who's listening, who's a climate activist, I saw Esteban. He ordered a bunch of beef just threw it out, then got tons and tons of almonds, threw that out the entire time his shower was running. It was the craziest. I didn't know you would do something like that.
I live walking distance, came here on my Hummer.
Yeah, which is nuts.
Not that there's an electric Hummer, but not that one.
Sometimes I put my cart in at the gas station, I just spray it out on the floor.
It's just, what a thrill.
Yeah.
So in Contact, aliens come. And the aliens, she meets the aliens, and they take the shape of her dad who has passed, and it's really beautiful. And they like explain that. They go like, hey, we wanted to make you feel comfortable, and we were able to whatever see into your memories, and this is the thing you love the most. So it's this really beautiful at the end. And part of me is like, it's a gorgeous thing for the aliens to be like, how can we?
It feels emotionally manipulative, is it not?
Like as a story?
No, like to
For
do this
aliens
to
to
the
do that?
woman.
Yeah, I guess I
There's a
have
bit of emotional manipulation there.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the final segment?
Dude, I'm so ready for this final segment.
Thank you.
Ow!
Woo! The final segment is called the lightning round. It's 5 fast questions. They do not at all have to be fast answers. They are just the last 5 questions we end every episode with.
Do you just read them quickly? That's the premise? You already
No.
speak so quickly.
Lightning is kind of a misnomer.
No one knows how lightning happens.
Yeah. Sometimes it's slow. We don't know. I don't know science. You don't have to answer them quickly. They're just
Okay.
the last 5 questions we end every episode with. Should we have just called this like the bonus round or the closing round? Sure. But the animation for YouTube was already made, and there's just no point in changing it.
Yeah, lightning round.
Lightning round it is. Question 1. What is a favorite ritual of yours? So, for example, I love brewing tea in the morning.
I go for a lot of walks. It also makes me feel like an old person. So I go for a lot of walks by myself or with my wife.
Like a night walks, day walks.
Yeah, like I'm walking around my neighborhood like 3 times a day. So that's probably a ritual that
How long are the walks?
sometimes they're short. Sometimes they're like 5-10 minutes. Sometimes it's literally just around our little block.
You know, I do think they talk about grounding. I'm sure you've heard of this. Like, it is good for you to be out and about, just like standing on solid ground, just walking around.
Just barefoot. I walk around full white robes,
I figure that.
going around singing Hallelujah. I heard there was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord.
I walked down the aisle to a string version of Hallelujah.
Really?
True story.
No way.
They
Does
have-
that song mean a lot to you?
So this is going to really ruffle some feathers. So I'm going to say it anyway. No, I like the song, but they had a list of things, and they were like, and they were like, we could do one of your own if you. And I was like, I don't care enough about what song I walk down. I don't. It's what Hallelujah's fine. I like Hallelujah. I like the Jeff Buckley version better than the Leonard Cohen version. Play whatever. It's fine. Like,
Did they play the Jeff Buckley version? No, string.
It's
I'm
string,
sorry, you
it's
said
string.
string.
But like, listen, if I really like got my desire, I don't know if you are a sports fan at all, but the NBA on NBC theme song, which is called Round Ball Rock, is actually my favorite, and I wish I could have walked down to that.
Wow. I wish you would have said Chicago Bulls, the Alan Parsons.
It would have also been great. The Alan Parsons
And
part.
no.
Well, we wouldn't have had that part, but we would have been like, do 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 do.
You're walking down the line and it goes, Luke Longley
So I would have been fine.
from University of North Carolina.
I'll say this, because I'm a Knicks fan, I probably wouldn't have used that.
Yeah. That's so funny. I was so particular about music.
Interesting.
I just got married also 2
right.
months
Now,
ago.
you walked down the aisle to System of a Down's Chop Suey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Wake up. Watch your little makeup. But it was a string
The
version.
string quartet. No,
Yeah.
no. I think we all knew that. Yeah.
You want to, but we
Yeah.
still got.
Yeah.
Yeah. I walked down to al otro lado del río. Wow, it's getting late.
Oh.
My R's are turning to L's.
I walked down to Adios Lepido by Juanes.
Dude, that's such a good song. He's Colombian, you know.
Yep.
Adiós le pido. Y si me muera será de amor, y si me amora será por vos. My parents, they live in Chicago, just drove to Indiana last weekend to go to a Juanes concert.
I will tell you that I loved Juanes in high school.
Yeah,
Listened to
he's
a lot of
so
Juanes.
good.
Yeah.
He's still crushing it.
I believe it.
He's so good. I'm so glad.
I thought
you
that
like
song was
Juanes.
great.
Martin, let's pull up all no stops entire Juanes discography.
Yeah, that's fine. I will just inject it right in the middle.
Yep.
This is a 17-hour-long podcast. Question 2.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Oh,
Lightning round.
man.
We're moving
They're
on.
bad at
I'm
lightning round.
terrible at this. What is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
I mean, I talk about my friends. that I used to live with and be roommates, we talked about like famous camp. So anytime I do a show, they're like, "Will this get you to famous camp?"
What is famous camp?
It just is that they were like, "We're going to famous camp."
I want to go to famous camp.
So anytime anything has happened in my career,
Yeah.
and not that much has happened, but
I was gonna say,
like,
I don't know what it is for something to happen in my career, but that sounds intriguing.
but they've been like, "We're going to famous." Like there's stuff like that. I think I really like when a bit has been running for years, right?
for
that
sure.
has been so because I started doing comedy in Chicago and then I stopped. I moved to Panama. I stopped for a while, and then I like picked it up again like 4-ish years ago. And some of this has been from two of those friends are from college, like.
They're
So I'm like,
pre-Eco Village.
This is like a like when I was doing stand up in Chicago, we're making famous camp jokes, and now here we are,
And you're in
12
famous
years
camp
later.
Welcome
This
to
is famous camp.
This is
honestly, if I were like, dude, I did a really fun podcast tonight in our group text, they'd be like, famous camp, baby.
I do expect you to text that tonight.
Yeah, I'll show it to
Just
you.
I want to make sure I'm clear.
Yeah.
All right, question 3.
Perfect.
What is a very controversial opinion that you have?
I think it is punk rock now to be religious in any way. Like I'm more nervous to tell friends that I'm like, oh, I'm reading a book by like whatever Thomas Merton or like big Christian Catholic or whatever authors. It feels like risky to be like, hey, I don't know. I think some of these people might be on to something.
It's interesting. What I've always said about my interaction with religion is I'm not arrogant enough to believe that I have the answers, but I'm intelligent enough not to believe someone else that says they do. And that's kind of like...
It's a good line.
Thank you. I wrote it myself. You can find joshlanzette.com.
/quotes.
Should I have that? I don't have that page. Don't give them the wrong page. I don't have that page.
Go, and if it doesn't load, then just go to estebangast.com.
Yeah.
/quotes.
/Jude.
Yeah, that's my controversial take. I think I need more controversial takes. But we were kind of talking about it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is funny. I'm like feeling bashful to be like, I don't know. I think
And there's
maybe
no need
good.
to. It's a safe space here. Of course, as soon as we publish this, it's no longer a safe space.
People will be like, "I get out of here, this guy," and then they won't even come up with anything. But this guy will hurt.
This guy hurts. Yeah.
This guy.
Anytime someone has nothing to say to me, they go, "Nice ears." I'm like, awesome.
I don't know. I'm embarrassed by my controversial, not the religious thing, but I think
No,
it's
it's
not
okay.
a
You're
real.
embarrassed
I should have
religion.
had a cooler,
It's fine.
controversial take.
Your controversial take. What did you want it to be? I love cocaine. I mean, what is? It's not controversial. We all know that about you.
Colombian.
Oh, I didn't even make that connection.
Oh, really?
I didn't.
It's getting pretty bright in here with these space lasers.
Whoa!
Oh, I didn't even make that. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
yeah,
I'm just-
hello. There's a controversial take. You hate Jews. Let's go to question 4.
This is the worst.
Martin,
this is the worst recurring bit that has ever happened.
Martin, cut it. Question 4. What is a very, or sorry, that was question 3. Now you've thrown me off. Question 4. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there one moment that really sticks with you?
Oh, of course. I would say there's not one particular moment, but I would say there's the first thought is often, oh no. And I just had this fun experience where I legitimately can't say, so it's gonna sound, but I just filmed for this TV show,
Okay.
which was very fun, and it was like a guest spot, and like it was just great. And I'm like, I don't want to tell anyone because I'm like they'll probably cut it.
I've been there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, and it could be a thing that really is wonderful, and it could be the best thing that's happened in my career thus far. And I'm like, I don't know, let's wait. And I think that, like, even that of being like, oh, I haven't really celebrated that in any meaningful way. And I will, I suppose, if it comes out, but I'm so cautious.
I don't disagree with the caution. I do wonder why the experience is outweighed by the outcome. Why is the experience not worth celebrating? Why is it not worth celebrating that you did it regardless of whether you're cut or not? You can be upset if you are cut, but why not celebrate the fact that you went and filmed?
I think part of me is like, I don't know if it's sure it's fun, but I don't like. I think I just am like at a point where I'm like, oh, I would really like momentum. There's ebbs and flows, and sometimes I'm like, I just love this. And like everything's happening and everything will happen in its own time, you know, and you're like, trust in the universe more. I don't know if you feel this, but I'm like, I got married. I like need to get my life together a little bit, and I need to like be strategic, and I can't sit in the artistry and not move into some sort of strategy.
I agree with you, but I don't think that a strategy is mutually exclusive from celebrating little victories.
That's a good point.
That's what I will say.
Yeah.
It's a very stupid analogy, but it's kind of like, have you ever skipped stones on water?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you get one super far, that's awesome, right? It's super cool that you got it so far, but every skip along the way that it hit the water is equally important because all of those added up to getting it where it got to go. So if you're not acknowledging the fact that like, hey, this was a very cool skip, regardless of where the stone ends up, it's going to be a very hard road.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. No, totally. There might be a few, but I think one of the reasons, surely, that the whatever the next steps of their career, my career, is probably that sense of like lightness, or you hear interviews and I don't know if this is like revisionist history, but everyone's like, the moment I stopped caring, I finally got that audition.
I think that's partial revisionist history.
Yeah. But I think there's something interesting to that of like, oh, that person's probably enjoying the process a little bit more.
For sure.
And I'm like, and then if I'm there thinking, oh God, they're probably going to cut this while I'm doing the thing.
Well, don't do that.
Yeah.
Now they are going to cut it. They're gonna watch it, and they're watching the dailies, and they're like,
what?
He wants us to cut it.
I mean, he's mouthing, they're gonna cut this
Yeah.
in the background.
You can hear him talking in other shots he's not in. He's coming through the boom going, they should cut this.
They're gonna cut this.
Okay, question 5, final question.
Perfect.
What is your favorite tea? And if you're not a big tea drinker, what is your favorite comfort?
I make ginger tea all the time. Straight up ginger, cut it.
Fresh ginger.
Excellent. From Trader Joe's.
Love it.
And then boil it. And then I do that when I feel like I'm getting a little bit sick.
Phenomenal.
So I do that all the time, and it's delightful. That's a good tea.
It's a great answer.
Yeah.
You don't have to think
I'll
of
do
another.
that. Sometimes I squeeze lemon into it too.
Why not?
Sometimes I will squeeze orange and lemon into it, and then it's like
You
a cold
salty dog.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Listen, I'm out here pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, you're out on these streets, okay?
I'm out on the
You're
streets.
innovating.
Okay, I'm not like Latinx cooped up in some university theory.
Not here.
I'm out on the
that orange in.
streets.
You put a little lemon in. Hell, make it a citrus ginger surprise.
Yeah.
And you know what they're going to call it? The Esteban.
You think?
Yeah. I don't think. I know.
Wow. Well, you know what I've always said? I'm not... You know what I've always said? I'm not arrogant enough to say I know what they're going to call it.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm intelligent enough to know that anyone who thinks they've got the answers is not someone I listen to.
Whoever gave you that context, that framing, is a genius.
You can find out all about that at estebangast.com/Jude/quotes.
I think it was /quote/Jude.
Yeah.
You know what? Now we don't. They're both. We're building both.
We're building both. Squarespace is really
Squarespace is
money.
where we. Yeah. By the way, this is all brought to you by Squarespace.
Yeah.
Use my code. No one gives a shit 7 to get 7% off.
7% more.
Only 7% extra. You pay 7%.
It's 7% more, and it does not go to the show.
And it does not. No,
it goes to Squarespace.
It goes to Squarespace and the climate. That is the pod. How do you feel?
Wow, this was great. I apologize for rambling and spending 1 hour and 24 minutes.
You know what? This has been edited down to about probably 52 minutes.
This was so great. It was so fun to chat.
Oh my God.
Genuinely.
I absolutely love that. You are welcome back anytime. And when you do get into that show, whatever that show is,
I will honestly.
I expect a text.
Yeah. I will if it comes out.
Severance 2, ladies and gentlemen. Severance season 2. Esteban Gast.
I know it's when it comes out, I'll share with everyone because it'll be really exciting.
I would like a personal text, but I'm with you.
No, of course, yeah,
obviously.
You're right.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, and thank you, Jude, and thanks, Martin. Thanks to your whole team for doing this.
We all love you. That was Esteban Gast. You can find him on Instagram and TikTok at Real Esteban Gast. This episode was produced by Jude Crowner. It was edited by Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepconvos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping.
You're pro-Semitic?
I'm pro myself. Yes, I'm pro Semitic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, so am I. Don't
Are
say that.
I?
Don't make it seem.
Everyone who's listening now knows that you hate Jews, which I thought was weird. That we wanted to have you on to have the other side. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like what Joe Rogan does. We're having the other side.
Yeah.